It's time once again to interview a coach on the Sports Couch Show, brought to you by People's National Bank, serving you with locations throughout Southern Illinois, member FDIC and equal housing lender, and by Mount Vernon Title Company. When you need title work or real estate closings or contract for deed work, Mount Vernon Title Company. Football season is here. That's right. And week one of the high school football season will find the Mount Vernon Rams at home at Ken Hunt Stadium to host the Waterloo Bulldogs. But before we get into previewing that game, we're going to talk to head coach Dan Mings about how it's been going not only in the summertime, but just in preparation here heading into week number one. Coach, good to see you again. And you lost some good seniors last year, and it's tough to, replace guys like Devontae Nesbitt and Nettles and guys like that. But the cupboard's not bare. You've still got a lot of talent coming back, and it looks like a lot of speed from what I saw the other night in the scrimmage.
Yeah, we do. And it's been a great summer, and sort of attack these things, the way that you threw them out there. We've had a great summer. We've been to camps, and we've been to scrimmages, and we've been to 7-on-7s, and we've done well in each one of those. So we feel pretty good about the preparation that we put in this summer and the game plans that we're going with. We feel really good and really strong about what happened. It's coming down to the nitty gritty a little bit. So you go right into the basic preseason, and the camp, once school gets in session and how camp's going and those types of things. And we do have a lot of talent, we do have a lot of speed. We have, we have some answers, for some of the kids that we lost, athletically, school's all-time leading rusher, all-time leading touchdowns, all-time, all-time everything. With Navante and then, Milan, nobody completed a pass on him in 2 years. And plus he set our school record with kickoff returns and probably has the most touchdowns on kickoff returns in school history, So those kids are gone, but those types of kids are still here. We have kids that have that similar ability that can make a lot of things happen athletically. So we feel pretty good about who we have. The bigger losses for us, which as a football coach and with my history as a lineman, that's my fear. To be good, your linemen have to be good, and I think our linemen are going to be fine. It just comes down to that. That's sort of my background and my history. So I put a little bit more stress on myself with those guys. But I think that offensively, we could be formidable. I really do. Defensively, we still got a ways to go, and I know I stutter here a little bit, trying to find the right words to say, but it has nothing to do with ability. It has nothing to do with schematics. It's going to come down to, will we hit anybody? And football, that's just sort of what it is. You've got to run and you've got to hit, you got to tackle, you got to block. You have to sort of want that contact. And I always tell the story to my boys, it's like watching those YouTube videos when, the owner's got like a little tennis ball and you got a rat terrier and you throw the tennis ball against the wall and that dog will go crashing into the wall and jump off the wall and catch it and bring it back and say, let's do it again. That's like playing defense. You got to want that contact. You have to want that excitement to go after the ball. You got to give yourself up a little bit against that wall to make things happen to get what you want. So
you got to build that fire. That fire's not quite there yet.
It's not. It's not. But we may be able to get by on our athleticism. Some people can do that. It's just I've never had a team that I've coached that's been able to get by with just athleticism. Sometimes you got to have a little bit of ornery in you. And then special teams. I think we're pretty good on special teams. If given the opportunity, we're not afraid to kick long field goals. We can kick the ball into the end zone on our kickoffs. We're really coming a long way with our special teams play. So, that's something that somebody's going to have to prepare because, people have done their homework on me and the history on me. I think this is year 31 or 32 of me coaching, 22 as a head football coach. And last year was the only time in my life, in my career, that I haven't onside kicked or fake punted in a season.
Wow.
I didn't run any fakes of any kind last year.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that's not me. Right. I like to get a couple extra possessions in and try to make people prepare. So they're going to have to get back to that part of the game a little bit to prepare for us on the special teams, because we have kids that are now a year older and they understand the concepts that we're trying to teach on the special teams. So I think we're going to be pretty good there.
Yeah. Well, in those 21, 22 years as being a head coach, every other season until this year, all you've been able to do is have an inter-squad game before week number 1. Well, this year the IHSA introduced something new, and most coaches seem to like it, and it gives teams a chance to match up with somebody else and do a practice scrimmage, where you have a chance to run a series of offensive plays and defensive plays and kind of see kind of how you stack up against some other opponent other than your own team. You chose to go down to Murfreesboro, and tell me how that went and how you feel that you came out of that and what you learned.
Well, ours, I mean, a lot of people went live full scrimmages, full dress rehearsal, live full scrimmages. Yep. We didn't do that. Okay. We kept it safe. We did a lot of high thud stuff and quick whistles and those types of things, because we can't justify losing a kid before we even play a game.
Right. Right.
But I think the IHSA took a step in the right direction as far as football is concerned, because, everybody else in the country has spring ball, and everybody else in the country, has 3 or 4 scrimmages before your season even starts. Yeah. And the IHSA has been really behind on that. So I was glad to see them step up, putting that with the stuff that you're able to do during the summers. And then you get to have a dress rehearsal, which is what we used it as. That also goes for the coaches. So that was a dress rehearsal,
right?
About how we're going to break down the film when it comes back. What we're going to do, what all the coaching assignments are going to do, and then today we had our basic Monday type of a practice where we broke down that film and we went over corrections that needed to be made, corrections that had to be made, and mistakes that were made. So we covered those things today in our 2-hour time limit that we had here today, and it just helped get everything off on the right foot, and I'm glad the IHSA allowed us to do that this year.
Yeah. Now, the heat wave is back, and so that kept you from practicing outside, and you want to explain that to people, or why you weren't able to practice outside today?
Well, and I feel terrible. My old coaches and older friends and, people that I grew up with, their sort of comment is, what? It's too hot to play football, but those are coming from people that took salt pills before they went out to practice, and wore wool sleeves.
Yeah, I remember those salt pills.
Those types of things,
right,
So times are changing, and nobody wants to get on the wrong side of a mistake that can be avoided, so I understand it. But here at the school, we have a program that they call it the wet bulb. And what that basically does is it takes in several factors. It takes in heat, humidity, wind, time of the day, and the height of the sun, and if Gemini's in retrograde with whoever else, whatever else. It tells a lot of things that I don't really know about, But it told us that it's too hot to be out there today, and we know that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's going to be hotter than it was today.
Yeah.
So today we didn't really have time to get to all the kids, so we just kept our practice after school. And the next 3 days, we're going to be at night. We're going to practice 7 to 9, which will be the same time as our kickoff is. So we're okay with that.
Yeah.
It's not ideal because kids leave school and have to come back, and that's always a fear.
Yeah.
Those are things that just as an adult and as a coach and as somebody that loves these kids worries about. And then what happens to the kids that can't go home? Well, they're stuck here for another, 4 hours,
right,
so finding them something to eat, those types of things, and that we'll cover tomorrow. But it's just the right thing. It's a safe thing. But, the wet bulb is in charge of the football program right now, not Coach Mings, and I guess that's probably a good thing.
All right, week number 1 opponent, the Waterloo Bulldogs, same team that you opened up the season with last year. This time it's at home here at Ken Hunt Stadium. What do you know, if anything, at this point about Waterloo going into week 1?
Nothing. I mean, Coach Rose has been there. I think this is his 26th year. He's run the straight tee. He's run the wing tee. He's run the gun tee. He's ran all toss formations. So he's pretty adaptable to the people he's got in his program with what he tries to do.
Right.
But it always involves a hard-nosed running game and a play-action game. Sometimes they like to run screens, those types of things. We know the basic concept of what he is going to try to do,
Yeah.
But, then you look down the roster, who's he got coming back? Well, he graduated quarterback. Well, the quarterback that we saw didn't make it through the season, so the quarterback that they have coming back is sort of seasoned.
Okay, gotcha.
So he's got a little bit of seasoning under his belt. They lost, I think, 4 offensive linemen. But their JV and their freshman level, I don't know if they lost a game. So their cupboard's not bare either.
Yeah.
And they're a little bit bigger than us. I mean, they're going to have a size advantage on us in the trenches. So that's basically all we know about them, as far as that goes. But, at least they have to come to Mount Vernon this year. We don't have to drive to Waterloo.
Right. Well, as far as your offense and your defense heading into week 1, do you have all the starting positions selected, or is there still a contest and a battle for some of these starting positions yet this week?
Well, defensively, everything's wide open.
Okay.
I mean, we got to find puppies that bite, and dogs that want to hunt.
Yeah.
So just about everything on the defensive side is open and fair game. Offensively, we try to solidify that really early, especially our linemen. I don't sub my offensive line, and I don't have them normally play both ways. An offensive line is something that has to gel and get the work. Everywhere else, we have about 3 or 4 deep that we could play. And any other year, the person that's 3rd or 4th on our depth chart right now would start for us. They would.
Yeah.
So that's where our skill is. We're going to try to play some different people and try to keep some people as fresh as we can, especially early. But, you go with the hot hand. The kids that can get the job done, that's the kids that are going to end up getting the playing time.
Yeah. The numbers. It looks like the numbers were good again this year.
Yeah, we got up to, I think, 93 kids, and I think we're down to like 86. But any time that you have, above 75 kids in your program, you feel pretty decent about your program. Our senior class is just really small. Our freshman class is big. Our sophomore class, we retained a lot of those kids and got some other kids out. Our junior class, we have a really big junior class. So, our senior class has, I think, maybe 11 kids in it. That's not a big senior class, so we're going to ask our underclassmen to win football games. But, if everything just stays where it is, if everything stays where it is, hopefully we'll start getting over that 100 number in a year or two and keep pushing this thing to where it needs to be.
Yeah. Look a little bit at your schedule. You have a tough road trip on your schedule this year. Was that week 4, week 5, somewhere in there in the middle of the season? Yeah. Making a trip to Ohio, and tell us how that came about.
We couldn't find anybody to play.
Yeah.
The team from Missouri that we played last year, Bonterre, we knew that was a 1-year contract, and we had been looking for 2 years to fill this one. And it's right in the middle of the season. Everybody's in their conference play. Yep. So we looked in Illinois, we looked in Iowa, we looked in Missouri, Kentucky, Indiana, we looked in Louisiana. We put feelers out everywhere. And 2 schools called us. One was Massillon, Ohio, which is like the 5th ranked team in the country right now. And one was Bishop Hoban, who ended last season 25th ranked team in the country. So we chose Hoban, and we're going to go out and we're going to treat our kids a little bit, but I won't say that. They treated themselves because we had a heck of a fundraising spring. And so they're going to go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Great.
I've never been.
That's great.
I
was there as a kid, but I'm sure it's changed a lot.
Yeah, and it's something that hopefully these kids will never forget, and playing that level of competition. And letting some of our kids know they're not much different than you are. Athletically across the country, we have pretty good athletes here. So hopefully, that's going to give our kids a chance just to see.
Yeah.
And hopefully for a chance for our kids to be seen.
Right. No, I think that's a great opportunity. It really is. South 7 Conference. I know it's early. Nobody's played a game yet. Maybe hard to kind of sum it up or size it up. But as you look at the conference and you got an idea of who's returning where in the conference, what do you look for in the conference this year among the South 7 teams?
Well, I think Carbondale is still the class because their line's back, and of course I lean that direction,
right?
Because of what they have up front. Yeah. And if you have a good line, you can do almost anything that you want to do. I think Cahokia and Marion are going to be good. Hopefully the Rams are going to be in that mix somewhere. Hopefully we're going to be in that upper echelon, but who knows? Centralia, nobody's dumb anymore. By that I mean everybody knows Coach Calling is back. Everybody knows what he is able to do with his offensive mind to create what he's done over the years with the places he's been to be successful. Kerry Martin is back at Marion. So Kerry's the offensive coordinator at Marion. Ray's back at Centralia. It's going to be a pretty tough sled in the South 7. I think the conference is just continues to get a little bit better.
Yeah. And just about everybody's got a turf field now. Centralia's added theirs. Cahokia's added their turf field this year. So I think that kind of runs the gamut, doesn't it?
Yeah, we don't play on grass this year at all.
Yeah, and that's something?
Yeah, no matter where we go, we don't play on grass. So that's just the way things are now. 10 years ago, it was you were lucky to get to play at that one school that had turf.
Right.
Everybody's got it.
Yeah.
And so it's just going to be like playing at home.
Yeah. Coach, we appreciate the visit. Anything else you want to add before we wrap it up here?
Not really. Just come out and watch us. I think that we have a chance to be exciting. But it always helps when the stands are full.
Absolutely it does. All right. Week 1, Waterloo's here. Be here. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thanks, Randy.